Prime Minister calls for a peaceful PNG Christmas. World Bank helps with Pomio Road. And crucial road upgrade as Christmas gift to Menyamya-Aseki.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Friday's news. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says the 2017 Christmas must be celebrated peacefully with families. While the country has played host to many national events like the National General Election and leading APEC meetings, Papua New Guineans have to reflect the true meaning of Christmas.
We certainly have had a very challenging year for Papua New Guinea over the last 3 years. In 2014-15, we had a long 8 months of drought, which created a lot of stress in our business community and, of course, our own people. In 2015 and 16, we have had a collapse in the commodity prices. Things like the oil prices collapsed from $110 per barrel down to $27 per barrel, again causing a lot of stress and challenges in our country and our communities and our families. Last year, of course, we had a prolonged elections, which again caused a lot of challenges. So I know that we are coming off these challenges, and I'm looking forward to 2018 because I think we have turned the corner, and I have a strong feeling that when global economic conditions are improving, Papua New Guinea will do better. So that is why I'm hoping that our families can truly celebrate Christmas in a spirit of hope and prosperity for not only their families but for our country in the coming year. And hopefully they will have a very safe New Year. And I want to stress, do it in an orderly manner. Celebrate in an orderly manner. We want to see you next year. We hear a lot of accidents happening during Christmas and festive periods. We want our families to be safe during this occasion. But we wish them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year on behalf of our government and our ministers and, of course, our parliament, our leaders. We wish each and every family in our country and every person best wishes for the season.
Police Commissioner Gary Baki says 2017 has been a challenging year for the force. In a statement released today, Commissioner Baki said the force has been criticized, unlike before, with the use of technology by the public. However, he says the constabulary will put more effort into reshaping the corporate image of the force and maintaining accountability while fighting police corruption and abuse. Despite being hit hard by deaths during the 2017 election, Commissioner Baki says policemen and women will serve with risk to protect the 8 million people of PNG. He says the force is now preparing with other disciplinary forces for the 2018 APEC summit. Commissioner Baki is urging the nation to celebrate the true Christmas spirit and not get caught doing unlawful activities. People in the remote Reate Sinivit in Pomio district, East New Britain province in the last 20 years have been struggling with limited road access. Until recently, the 3,000 plus people population are beginning to see hints of infrastructure developments being in their villages. A new feeder road funded by the World Bank is expected to solve their problems and improve living standards.
This is a section of a road at the Reate Sinivit local level government on the outskirts of Warangoi Township in the Pomio district, a region largely heard of but largely forgotten. Census estimate has put the total population of Reate Sinivit LLG at around 3,000 men, women and children. Most of the people who live here are from other parts of the country who bought land from traditional landowners to settle. Michael Wafi, a settler here, tells me they have had their share of problems. Government services here haven't been any better in the last 10 years, and poor road access has been their main struggle.
Lo help, planti lo mipla ol mama e molisa karim lo house.
In 2016, the inception of a World Bank funded project that aimed at upgrading roads has brought at least some answers to the people inhabiting this rural interior. A 2-kilometer ring road that cost around 1 million kina was funded by the World Bank and managed by its implementers. The Productive Partnership in Agriculture Project, or PPAP, was built for the first time. It was an attempt to rehabilitate the cocoa industry in the province after the cocoa pod borer infestation. Apart from assisting cocoa farmers, the road also provided relief to others to have access to health centers, schools, and buying cargoes for their trade stores.
Mipla got this la road, we are very proud. Ose mipla got this la road, na all geta something e misi lo mipla lo. Kisi karta sol isi na kisi mipla golo town o golo ausik pe stop close to lo mipla.
While many may not see it as an important infrastructure, for those who use it, it is an important one, as it provided a hint of service delivery to the people who never had the chance to get what they have been promised by their elected leaders.
Now election kama 5 years. Kapan beluk sabi nampai gimna sampai sambil nokat. Nampai gimna nokat.
Edwin Fidelis, National MTV News, Kokopo.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has agreed to work in close consultation with Bougainville President Chief John Mommis on issues. At the conclusion of the joint supervisory body meeting today, the Prime Minister and the President signed resolutions to end the disagreements and work to move Bougainville forward. Among them is the formation of the Referendum Commission to oversee the referendum conduct in 2019.
The joint supervisory body meeting ended on a high note, with both governments signing resolutions as part of the implementation process after agreeing on issues.
Also, we've agreed that we will invite international observers who will manage and witness the referendum process that is going to take place on Bougainville. And we plan to appoint a internationally recognized person to chair this process, either one of the prime ministers, Referendum Commission, one of the former prime ministers of a Commonwealth-related countries, which will be consulted and will be announced very, very soon. Also, I want to thank the President and his team for the continued understanding about the drawdown of autonomous powers from the national government. That is ongoing and continuing. Most of the functions have already been transferred. We are now in process of transferring the powers around fisheries, and those issues are now left to our officials to discuss and finalize before the next JSB meeting. I'm also happy to announce that we have concluded the grants that are going to Bougainville. There's been some disagreements on the formula and the calculations around it, but we have reached a conclusion that about how we can resolve that issue moving forward in the years ahead of us, and that is that we will tie to key projects on Bougainville, particularly on infrastructure.
In response, President of the autonomous Bougainville government, Chief John Mommis, was satisfied with the resolutions and said both governments have serious responsibilities with the implementation of the Bougainville Peace Agreement.
The national government must have greater visibility in Bougainville in terms of construction of projects and programs that the ABG and the national government must jointly determine the priorities in Bougainville. And I think we will, from now on, also have more political dialogue between members of National Parliament, the ABG Parliament, bureaucrats from both sides, and, of course, with the great awareness that we want to create in Papua New Guinea and Bougainville, there will be a much better understanding and support for this process, which will be a world-class achievement if we get it right.
However, more political dialogue is needed to ensure what's stated in the peace accord is given priority.
Very, very happy that an agreement could be reached after the JSB meeting, and it addresses a lot of issues that has been lingering in the minds of Bougainvilleans, especially in the issues of the BRC, the Bougainville Referendum Commission, and of course the RDG funding that is supposed to be coming in to the ABG. So this, is a very, very important breakthrough, taking into account that there hasn't been a JSB for the last few years. And
the two principal agents of the two governments, national and ABG, Prime Minister O'Neill and President Momis, agree and are satisfied with the agreement. And then, as with every agreement and every policy, the key to any of these things is implementation. And so now we need to make sure that these things that have been agreed are properly implemented. And I want to again emphasize that one part of the discussions at the JSP today were about the importance of setting up very quickly the Referendum Commission. And the United Nations, I think, has an important role to play in supporting that work. And we will also need to mobilize resources so that we can play our part in contributing to the Referendum Commission's work and so on.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says the conduct of Bougainville's referendum in 2019 is set, and they will work closely with the autonomous Bougainville government to ensure it's achieved.
Ministers and the people of Bougainville, we have set a date. We just have to agree to the questions that we are going to put forward to our people. And as President stated, we have to create an awareness that what the referendum means and how it will impact the outcomes of the referendum will impact both Papua New Guinea and Bougainville. These are awarenesses that we will continue to carry out over the next few months.
You're at National EMTV News. More local stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. PNG Biomass is developing tree plantations with the help of local landholders and communities. The project will provide a long-term renewable source of power to the Morobe province. The 16,000-hectare plantations are expected to generate power for the Ramu grid and capture carbon emissions from the atmosphere. Last week, PNG Biomass conducted an extensive round of stakeholder and engagement consultations to explain the carbon certificate. An important element of the consultation process was explaining the role of carbon emission in climate change and global warming. The carbon captured by these new planted trees can be traded on international markets in the form of carbon credits. These credits can be bought by companies to offset the carbon they produce in their operations. Once the plantation is established, PNG Biomass will have 20 million trees that all capture carbon. After almost 5 years in court, Kerawagi MP Barry Palmer has won his election court case. Palmer was accused of being insolvent prior to the campaign and election period. Following the case dismissal this morning, he is now free and will work to deliver services lacking in Kerawagi.
It's finally over for the Kerawagi MP after endless court battles since the 2012 national elections. This morning, MP Palmer walked out of the Waigani National Court with a smile following the dismissal of his case by Justice Colin McKyle. MP Palmer's lawyer, Win Otho, says the case was simple but had dragged on. He says the courts found no discrepancies in Mr. Palmer's victory.
Basically, it was dismissed today. There's no more case hanging. We were waiting for the election petition. We were relieved of the decision, so a member will tell you how he's relieved, what he's going to do for the people of Kerawagi since he's cleared.
MP Palmer was taken to court by runner-up candidate Francis Kikin. It was alleged that MP Palmer was insolvent prior to the 2017 national elections. The court ruled that there were no grounds to question MP Palmer's victory, thus dismissing the matter. A jubilant Palmer says it is over and work must begin to serve the people of Kerawagi, Simbu and the country.
Brings the clarity out that I'm a duly elected member for Kerwagi, and I'm supposed to be serving the people of Kerwagi. I've been fighting this court for 5 years, since 2012 up until now. The people of Kerwagi have mandated me again. I have to prove to the people of Kerwagi I would like to deliver. That's what I want to do.
The Kerwagi MP told his supporters court is the right place to solve election matters, and for other candidates, 2022 is the next appropriate time to be challenged at the polls.
The court have made a decision, and now I want to go back to the people and start delivering. Time for fight is over. It's now time to deliver.
The Kerwagi MP says the victory now settles all the political burdens, and it is now time to serve the people. Jack Lapava Jr., National MTV News.
National Planning Minister Richard Maru says the government is concerned about the quality and safety of water that Goroka residents are consuming. He said this when presenting a 257,000 kina check to Water PNG to identify critical areas where work can be done to improve water quality. Meanwhile, Eastern Highlands Governor Peter Numu said the provincial government is still unsure of who will be managing the Goroka water supply. Goroka town in Eastern Highlands Province will play host to APEC workshops and other APEC-related events.
In order for us to give out the management of the water, we will sit down probably, we'll analyze both sides, whether Water PNG is capable of running this, managing this water project, or town authority, or there are any other arrangement that we can make. We can look into this. 5 million kina has been allocated. It's the government's decision that they made to give it to us. The money is there. So in terms of management, is the issue. So we will talk with the, I also thank the planning minister as well, Richard Maru, for that, and government of the day, and we will sit down properly, we analyze it, and then, you know, it's we will look at, there's some ways where, you know, our government need to benefit from this. The provincial government, there's the internal revenue for the province. So we will look at it properly, and then we'll make a decision thereafter.
The National Health Department will continue to provide support to the Health Department of the autonomous Bougainville government. National Health Minister Sir Pukatemu says their focus is to properly structure the health system.
The autonomous arrangement between the government of Papua New Guinea and the autonomous Bougainville government allows for Bougainville to exercise its own powers, which is stipulated in the Bougainville Public Service Management Act of 2014. However, the National Health Minister clarified they will continue to help improve and support the health system in the autonomous region.
We've got their Chief Secretary established, departmental heads and program managers. They have their own arrangements. So our support, we are looking at making sure that where there are no community health posts, we continue to support them. The Australian government is helping to rebuild the Arawa hospital, and so everybody will be moving back to the mainland. And so the opportunity that we have now in autonomous region of Bougainville is properly structure the health system.
Sir Puka is said to consult with the president of the autonomous Bougainville government, Chief John Momis, on a new way of delivering the e-health system.
And under the autonomous arrangements, we can actually look at a new way of delivery, and this is where I will speak with the president that e-health in Bougainville, to me, is the way to go.
In terms of budget allocation, the health minister said they will continue to support the autonomous region of Bougainville until it decides on its own political pathway.
So I think Bougainville has that opportunity, so I'll be sharing with my counterpart from Bougainville, the health minister, to look at how we can. At the moment, Bougainville has received good support through the health budget as well, and so we are continuing to provide the support.
Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
Telecom PNG today announced yet another 5 lucky winners for its weekly cash giveaway promotion. The 5 winning numbers for the 7th draw are right now being displayed on your screen. Winners around Port Moresby are advised to visit the Telecom PNG office at Waigani and claim their prize of 1,000 kina using ID verification. Winners outside of Port Moresby will be contacted and are to visit respective Telecom business offices. 65,000 kina is still up for grabs. And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3105 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.303 $0.3916 Australian dollars, $0.2534 euro, and 33.67 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and cocoa closed higher, while copper closed the day lower. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 76.77 points lower, the ASX closed at 14.26 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed at 9.33 points lower. Your 8 Fridays news will be back with more after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. As a Christmas gift to the people of remote Menyamya-Aseki district in Morbe province, the Works Department will upgrade the Menyamya-Aseki road. Minister responsible Michael Nali says locals have been waiting too long for a good road to take their agriculture produce to main markets in Lae and Bulolo. He recently visited the area and saw for himself the struggles people face.
Accessibility to vital services such as healthcare, education and agricultural commodities like coffee to reach the market has been a challenge for many rural areas like Menyamya. Works Minister Michael Nali, who had visited the area recently, has instructed the newly commissioned construction machinery under the Department of Works Plant Transport Division in Lae to mobilize and start road upgrade works in Menyamya-Aseki station.
For the first quarter, in the first quarter of next year, we look forward to starting some of these major sections.
Mr. Nali, after a national road tour around the country with Works Secretary David Were to the national roads and missing links, says the priority of the government is the Highlands Highway reconstruction under the Asian Development Bank. A $3 million loan for a 10-year program from Nadza Pengenofi to Kagamuga International Airport.
We have the Modag and 4-lane that's funding has now been approved and contractor has been paid. We start demolition those affected structures and planted crops within the design limit, and that will also kick off. It's already starting. We will see major progress on this 4-lane highway, just like the roads we see in the city. It's going to be built to same standard.
Meanwhile, road compensation claims have totaled up to 500 million kina. Mr. Were says while the claims have been settled in court, so far 200 million kina worth of the claims have been thrown out. Stacey Yalo, National EMTV News.
Karamui Nomane in the Simbu province has remained without road links since independence. People from the area have been walking to access vital services such as health and education. Local member Jeffrey Kama hopes to have that as a thing of the past as he plans to prioritize building roads during his term.
It takes about 11 hours for the people of Karamui Nomane to travel from Simbu town to their district. Without proper road connections, they have been using bush tracks they've created to reach the nearest town for health services and other vital needs. Local MP Jeffrey Kama says his priority is to have road and bridges constructed before other development takes place.
So now, may Yisano bring in the road with this 10 million allocated now, but we'll bring him a kill out it is to link the one district together. Karamui, Salto Mane. So.
He said with the 10 million kina allocated to the district by the national government, it will help in connecting Karamui to the provincial town.
50% of the 5-year development budget is appropriated to transport infrastructure. It also reflects this priority in the 2018 work plan.
Mr. Kama made his plans known during the presentation of his 5-year district plan and the presentation of his district's 2017 DSIP acquittal reports to the Department of Implementation and Rural Development. Meanwhile, Acting Governor for Simbu Province and Council President of Karamui LLG, Peter Genu, says the government's funding of 10,000 kina to ward levels is not enough to see real changes.
16 miblay doksim, money, 17 miblay doksim. So now can sensim kolonga ward area 10,000 by mixim lo ward area im dogasem batista 10,000 one ward by me sim people population sabisal one ward area so this 10,000 by making one something salo ward area.
Stacey Yallo, National, MTV News.
Turning overseas, it's been 6 months to the day since London's Grenfell Tower was engulfed in flames, claiming the lives of 71 people. Survivors were joined by royalty at a memorial service to mark the day and remember those lost.
The steps of St Paul's Cathedral, the royal family arrived to remember those affected by a devastating blaze, still raw 6 months on. The service included those that lived in Grenfell Tower, the first responders on that fatal June night, and the Prime Minister, together with royalty.
Welcome each one of you to this national memorial service of remembrance, community and hope.
Emotions spilled over, remembering those who lost their lives in the country's deadliest fire since World War II. 53 adults and 18 children died in the inferno, a mixture of ages, nationalities and religions. The multi-faith service with one clear message: never lose hope.
As we stand together in the quest for justice and peace.
Amidst the sorrow, a call to right the wrongs of Grenfell.
My prayer is that today we will pledge ourselves to change from a city where we didn't listen.
After their official duties were over, Prince Charles, his sons William and Harry, and the Duchess of Cambridge took time to meet with Grenfell residents, comforting those who'd lost loved ones and listening to their stories. The vast steps of the cathedral were full of grieving communities, tragic proof of the far-reaching effects of the fire. The victims are still waiting for answers.
A special reunion has taken place in Brisbane at the Sir Charles Kingsford Smith Memorial. 3 generations of direct descendants have paid a visit, making sure important family history isn't lost.
Sir Charles Kingsford Smith was renowned as Australia's boldest pilot. In 1928, he earned global fame when he made the first trans-Pacific flight from the United States to Australia. And this plane, the Southern Cross, is what he did it in.
I've made several visits over the years, I enjoy every one, including today.
Today, for the first time, 3 generations of his family visited a memorial at the Brisbane airport, including his son Charles Kingsford Smith Jr. and his granddaughter Genevieve.
I'm quite proud. I'm still kind of shocked that he could do all this.
I remember pretty vividly being here in 1978, even though I was just about her age. But it's just remarkably special.
Charles Jr. was just 3 years old when his father's plane went missing between India and Singapore in 1935. For him, this journey is about passing on their important connection with Australia and its history.
I'm hoping this trip will inoculate them with Australia, Australians, their heritage, their aviation heritage. The enjoyment for me is seeing that they're catching on to this.
His family will also travel to Sydney to visit more historical sites.
Disney has bought the bulk of Rupert Murdoch's 20th Century Fox in a landmark deal worth more than $68 billion. Disney is hoping the acquisition will allow it to take on digital giants such as Netflix and Apple. Parks are said to be buzzing with new drones from Santa this Christmas holidays, but Australia's Aviation Safety Authority is warning parents they can pose a serious risk and aren't a give-and-forget present.
They've become one of the most popular items on the Christmas list this year, but we are being told drones are not toys. Australia's Civil Aviation Safety Authority has put out a warning for parents to teach their kids about the risks of drones and the safety regulations.
The risks are that collision between a drone and a person, of course, could cause serious injury. People have been cut, lost eyes, for example, being hit by drones.
Those who breach the regulations can face fines up to $10,000. Now, if you use a drone for work, you'll need a licence. Otherwise, the rules are staying 30 metres from people and property, not going above 120 metres, staying 5 kilometres from airports and runways, and not flying near aircraft, especially emergency helicopters.
That's a potential risk of a collision, and that has happened overseas.
To see a drone and then just to have to abort and change the approach or departure paths is minutes, and that could be obviously quite critical to the patient. So there's a lot of factors.
At the moment, drones are flying out the doors at electrical stores, and as more drones have gone up, prices have come down. So if you are thinking of buying someone a drone for Christmas, make sure they abide by the rules. The easiest way to do that is to download the CASA Safety app.
You're with National EMTV News. We'll be looking at Team PNG's return from the Mini Pacific Games in Vanuatu next. That and more in Trukai Sports up next.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back. Welcome to Trukai Sports. Updates on Team PNG athletics and basketball teams as well as PNG kickboxers arrived today from the Pacific Mini Games in Port Vila, Vanuatu. The basketball men's and women's teams both scored medals at the games with bronze and silver respectively.
Arriving today to a small but warm reception at Jackson's airport today, the athletes were received by the PNG Olympics Committee. The athletics team for one brought home a number of medals in the likes of Sharon Toako, who took out silver in the women's javelin, Adrian Monagi, who gold medaled in the 100-meter hurdles, and even Poro Gahekave, who took out gold in the 1,500 meters. Nazmi Marai was also another surprise for PNG, who stormed home to a winning finish, taking out gold medal ahead of teammate Tio Pineau. The basketball team, on the other hand, showed strong performances as well. The men settled for bronze in the meet with Fiji with a 20-15 scoreline, and the women lost to Cook Islands in the gold medal playoffs 13-7, taking home the silver.
It's a good leader for them. As young as them, and it's going to be, they're going to go a long way, and it's a very good lead-up game for them. They really didn't step up on the first game. On the second and the few games, they really stood out. They did very well. I would like to thank the Olympic Committee and the government of PNG, for supporting the team all the way to the mini games, and I would like to thank everybody who supported us.
Meanwhile, kickboxing had mixed results, with Andrew Aisaga beating his Solomon Island opponent in the 69 kg division, while Lucas Wakora was outdone by a Tahitian opponent in the 81 kg division. Now with this lot back, PNG's netball team, Peppers, and remaining members of Team PNG, including the chef de mission, Emma Waiwai, are expected to arrive in the country next Wednesday. Dinawang Srako, National EMTV Sports.
Still on Team PNG updates, the PNG Peppers took out gold just a few hours ago, making this the 34th gold for PNG and bringing the total number of medals to 81. The opponent, Tonga, put up a strong fight in the first half, recording 28 points to PNG's 33. But PNG proved to be the better side in the second half, keeping Tonga at bay as they maintained the lead till full-time, recording 71 points to Tonga's 62. Pacific Sprint Queen Toya Whistle was outpaced by Cook Islands' Patricia Taya in the women's 200-meter final at the Pacific Mini Games in Port Vila. The Cook Islander became the first person in her country to win gold in the 200-meter event with a time of 24.16 seconds. Whistle, however, received silver, while teammate Afure Adar won the bronze medal. In the men's 200-meter event, PNG's Namzili Maria won gold in a time of 21.66 seconds and Theo Piniao came in second for silver. You're watching Trukai Sports, a look at the Interest Super Cup calendar, and David Mead leaves the NRL. Stories on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. It is now exactly 77 days to the opening ceremony of the 2018 Gold Coast Commonwealth Games, and Team PNG has prepared well for the Games. With recent performances at the Pacific Mini Games in Vanuatu, where most competing members of Team PNG have medalled, their presence at the Commonwealth come March 2018 looks promising. At the moment, the weightlifting team with the likes of sisters Dika and Thelma Toa, Stephen Kari, Moria Baru, Toa Udia and Lorraine Harry have been confirmed to compete at the Games, with most of them defending their gold from the last edition of the game and having scored medals again at the mini games. They are expected to come out on top. For now, the lifters are on break. They will resume training early next year, awaiting the Commonwealth Games. The SB-PNG Hunters will begin their 2018 season on the 11th of March at the Oil Search National Football Stadium. They take on the Ipswich Jets in round one of the Interest Super Cup 2018 season.
The Hunters will then take on Northern Pride in Cairns before a highly anticipated grand final rematch against the Sunshine Coast Falcons in round 3. That match is part of the 4X rivalry round, which will see new and traditional rivals go head-to-head in 7 massive games across the state. Other feature rounds included in the 2018 draw are the Anzac round, the Indigenous round, Men of League round, Get in the Game Country Week, Women in League round, and the 10 to Me round. The 2018 season will kick off on the 10th of March. All clubs will be playing 11 home and 11 away matches. Each club will have the first of their 2 byes in either round 9 or 10. This is where clubs will break for the NRL representative weekend, in which the Kumults will take part in the Pacific Test. After the representative weekend, clubs get back into competition, where they play on for 9 weeks leading to the final series. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Gulf Governor Chris Haiveta is confident the newly introduced Gulf Provincial Sports Trust will guide athletes in the area to becoming professional competitors. The GPST is led by well-known sports administrators in the country that can help athletes in the province.
Also getting our young people to be involved in a systematic way and to develop them in the various codes. So as I said, it's sports at the world level and the local level government in the various codes where they are good. For example, in the mountains, in the Khmer region, our people with the Lutheran influence, they like playing soccer. On the coast, it's rugby league, basketball, and for the girls, of course, netball. So.
And to NRL, Kumult's captain and Brisbane Broncos flyer David Mead has joined English super side Catalan Dragons on a 3-year deal. The PNG international will start next season in England after stints with the Gold Coast Titans and Brisbane Broncos in the NRL.
Australian media AAP and Sports Broadcasting Service has reported speedster David Mead, who can play in almost anywhere across the backline, signed a 3-year deal with the Catalan Dragons from Broncos. The 29-year-old had a remarkable season with the Gold Coast Titans before linking up with the Broncos in the 2016-2017 seasons. After leading the Kumults to an historic World Cup campaign this year, Mead is sure to bring a wealth of experience to the south of France. AAP reported that the PNG international has embraced the opportunity to play with the French side with the support of his family. However, Mead admitted his time with the Broncos under coach Wayne Bennett has been extremely enjoyable, and he looks forward to learning all about the French culture and join his new teammates and coaching staff. Former England coach Steve McNamara, now in charge of the Catalan Dragons, said Mead's blistering speed and attacking assets have shown in the NRL over the years. Mead's leadership qualities is undeniable after captaining his country to 3 wins at home, one McNamara looks forward to build on with the Catalan Dragons. Shane Saroya, National MTV Sports.
And that's a wrap for Trukai Sports. Weather details up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, with doing with Dulux.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Mostly fine tonight in Port Moresby, Daru, Kirrama and Alotau, and cloudy with a few showers in Popondetta. In the Momase region, cloudy with rain drizzles tonight in Lae, few showers in Medang, cloudy with some showers in Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, squally heavy rain showers and thunderstorms in Lorengau and Kavieng, cloudy with rain showers in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and cloudy with rain drizzle in Buka. In the Highlands region, evening rain showers, then morning fog in all centres. Strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of Medang to Bogia, to Wewak, to Aitape, to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, including Manus and its western group of islands and New Ireland. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru, to Kiwai Island to Kirrama, to Yule Island to Hood Point, to Samarai Island with waters of Finschhafen to Vitias, Dampier Strait to Siasi Islands, to Long Island and with waters of New Britain to Bougainville, seas of 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands and with waters of Samarai Island to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen, seas of 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters north of Long Island to Medang, to Bogia, to Wewak, to Aitape, to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas of 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands and with waters of New Ireland, seas of 2.5 to 3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas for tonight and tomorrow. Coral Sea, seas slight to moderate with southeast to southwest winds at 10 to 20 knots. And the Solomon Sea, seas slight to moderate with southwest to northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas rough to very rough with northwest to southwest winds at 25 to 34 knots with gusts. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas slight to moderate with southwest winds at 10 to 20 knots.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, with doing with Dulux.
And that's the news for Friday, the 15th of December 2017. Pleasant viewing. Good night.